Hey, welcome to DeMark Day 1, brought to you by Diego and Potencia Ventures. And today we are going to talk about decentralized marketing, DeMark. Let's see what is that. We have centralized marketing, that is, when the company talks directly with the users, right? How do we do that? We do ads emerge from the company and reach the user, or we have salespeople, or we create our own content and we post it in our own pages. And then we have decentralized marketing. That is a new type of marketing that I also call DeMark. And what is that? Is when the company talks with somebody else, and it's that somebody else that talks with the users. Now, this is what we do right now. We do it to such extent that now everything is kind of guided by this idea of CAC and LTV. So we have to control this to know if we are bringing users cheaper than what is costing us. Which is so extreme that we end up discarding some things that we could do, but we can't measure them well, right? Now I'm proposing something completely different, where of course we are going to lose track of this. That is probably creating some anxiety already. But the question is, why do we need this? So let's see what is the key limitation of centralized marketing. We talk about this model where people will learn about a product through an interaction with something or somebody. They will infer like all the elements of that interaction, not only what is written or what is said, but also the subtext, the hidden meaning of that, and they will reach a conclusion about like that. When the who is the company, with ads, with sales, with content, whatever we say is going to be like, yeah, our product is great. The subtext of that, because we are an interested party on selling you that, is that, yeah, I don't trust you. So the positioning is going to be like, okay, I know that you exist, I know what you do, but I can't believe what you're telling me about how good it is, how complete it is, how great it's going to be for me. I can't trust that. So maybe I will not choose it, right? Centralized marketing is great to create awareness. Now I know that you exist. But because the message is not credible, it doesn't build trust. I know that the product exists, but I don't know if it's any good, and I can't trust you. So with that limitation in mind, let's see when this works and when it doesn't. And first, let's refresh the pull framework that says there are three types of companies perceived in three different ways: identity default, default, and non-default. Where why do you trust a Scrivener? Because there is a specific group of people, professional writers, that use it. So this is why there is trust here. Why do you trust that Google Docs can help you? Yeah, because a lot of people use it, not a specific group, but many people. Why do you trust that Ulysses is going to help you? There is no trust there, right? With that in mind, let's see centralized marketing when there is trust and when there is not. So let's start with when there is not. And we do our thing, our centralized marketing, our ads, our sales. To whom? Well, we define our ideal customer profile, the ICP, that can look like tech startups with 10 to 50 employees located in the US. We learned that this is not enough, that we need a second layer of segmentation that we call customer instances. That says there is going to be people in this group that are okay. Yes, they have these characteristics, and also they have a solution that works for them. So when they receive these ads, they will ignore it. We will have people that are here, had a solution that is not working anymore, and now they are looking for another solution. Or people that were not here, and now they are. They're new to the market. Yeah, but both of them will choose first Notion, or Google Docs, or Scrivener, not our random solution that they never heard about is too risky. Why trying something that I don't know if it's going to work when I have plenty of options that I assume are going to work. So that leaves us just with the desperate CI, the people that try these solutions and are not working for them. These are the ones willing to try a product without trust. But we are not alone there, right? There are many. So there is this idea of, are you one of a kind? Are you differentiated from the rest? So if you look at this, in reality, we just have access to this group when there is no trust. And out of them, depending on how much one of a kind we are, maybe what we get is this. Now look at this conversion rate that we like to measure, right? Like this CAC LTV. We reach this many people just to get these sales. Really, really low conversion rate. Let's see the other case. We have our company, but now we are a default solution. Now there is trust on our product. We do exactly the same thing, but when a new startup becomes a default, usually the starting point is helping the users that were trying defaults and were not working for them. So they will get a big chunk of the desperate ones because now they have a solution that now is a default that works. All these people here will try the default first. Now we are default. They will try us first. And because we are a new default, and new has a strong subtext like, yeah, it's probably better, more modern, it will have newer features, we're going to capture like a big chunk of that. What about OK? OK, they don't need to switch, but they will see all these people switching and talking about it. And some fear of missing out will start to appear, and some of them will switch just because they don't want to miss out. Complete different scenario, right? So what is going on here? Same strategy. We are going to grow through ads, through sales. It can work really well. It cannot work at all. We talk about this. The idea of having mental models that allows us to read the situation, choose a strategy, and with that, define the tactics. But the way that we behave right now is the strategy is kind of fixed. It's like we are going to grow through ads. And when we are here and they are not working, we don't think, maybe because we didn't know, hey, trust is a really important element. No, what we think is the problem is implementation. Let's create more versions of the ad, different keywords. Let's change the landing page. Let's change the flow, the sign-up page. Let's change pricing. Wait, maybe it can't work for us structurally. We are missing a key element, that is trust. So maybe this is not the way to grow. Now we have a new mental model that we check in detail in PPD7. Start with a diagnosis. Okay, do we have trust or do we not? Or maybe we have it in some places, in some networks, and not in others. And instead of just stuck with a single strategy, we have to make this thing work and become just a better grinder. Let me read more tips and hacks and stuff about how to make like Google or Instagram work. Become a better pull strategist. And I'm not talking about a growth strategist. I'm talking about pull. We will do things that are not bring growth right away, but are going to lead us there. It's clear that ads, when there is no trust, are not going to work for us. Yeah, but we can use these ads, and these few people here, as a way to do anti-fragile discovery. Let's bring some random people. Let's explore if maybe they have a better fit than the ones we believe are our best customers. This is being a good strategist and using each tool for its purpose, instead of just get fixed with something. So let's become pull strategies. And the first step is like, okay, let's understand more about trust. So we have the model, and we talk about the idea of one of a kind and the perfect fit. These are two things that we need to get out of this place, but are not the things that are going to do it on its own. We need that, so when we talk with people, we are clearly different, they understand that, and when they try, it works. This is important, but now we need something else to move here. We need DeMark. Let's see how trust works. For that, let's use an example with Obsidian. There are three elements that build trust. First is a good reputation. This is hearing good things about the product. So I can tell you, look, you want to build a wiki? Obsidian is great. And you will say, okay, but that is your opinion. Who are you? Like, I am the utmost expert on wikis. Like, okay, I hear you, but this is the opinion of one expert. I didn't hear anybody else talking about them, so I'm not sure. Okay, so we have the third element, familiarity. If you hear 3 or 4 experts saying, yeah, use Obsidian if you want to build a wiki, Obsidian it is. Now notice that there are 3 elements, but they can be combined in different ways. For example, with a strong interaction would be somebody that you already know is an expert, and it tells you this works, you just go with it. If I'm the most reputed expert, but you didn't know me, I'm telling you that there is loose credibility, but there is this possibility. There is also you are hearing good things from a lot of different people. You don't know if any of them are credible, but there are so many that it doesn't seem to be like a chance event. There is something there. Trust is also built there. So let's see how we can build this thing, how we can build trust. And to understand that, we're going to use Taleb style via negativa. What is not that? So what are no trust growth strategies? Things that we do to grow that don't achieve any of these. And one of the things that when we are not growing, there is this idea of, okay, why don't we add more features so we can also like make the product compelling for this other group there? Problem is that the product is not perfectly built for them. We are just trying to squeeze another type of user. There is going to be a loose fit. And with a loose fit is going to come like bad reviews. Some people are not going to be happy at all. So that is not helping with reputation. We believe help us reach more people. In reality, we are just destroying our reputation there. We have what we already discussed, the ads, the sales, the own content. When we are the source, there is no credibility. So that doesn't work. So we think, okay, let's make others talk about us. But to achieve that, we pay them. So let's pay influencers, sponsor their videos and things. He has credibility, but the moment there is money involved and this is a sponsor event, that's it. The credibility is lost. Like, yeah, I respect the person, but I don't respect that message. Let's make users talk about us. And if they are not, let's pay them. That is what a referral program is, just paying our users to be our sales agents. But it's the same dynamic here, like no credibility. And we have a specific type of ads like retargeting, where we will bombard somebody over and over again with ads just because they visited our page once. This is a brute force way of building some familiarity, but just around the awareness things. Okay, yes, I know that you exist. You told me 100 times already. I don't know if you are any good because these other 2 elements are missing. And there are things that we do that we believe are going to help us grow that just destroy the whole thing. Like, I think that we are not growing because we have this kind of bad company name, bad product name. Why don't we do a rebranding? Something more modern, more startup-y. What happens then? What happens is that we just reset familiarity. All the posts written about us, all the people that knew about us, that these interactions were built over time, now gone. You start from zero again. The new name is better. It doesn't matter anymore. Notice how trust is built through accumulation. But we don't have this mental model. So we do things like this. Or we just go into a new market or a new geography where we start from scratch, believing that, but they don't know us there and the whole market is for us. Yeah, from scratch, there is no trust at all. So we are here. And as I explained, we try to grow in ways that don't build trust, right? Now, there is a problem with this. They work a little bit. And some companies that are doing these tactics also, in parallel, by chance get trust. Maybe the product is inherently viral, like Zoom. Then one person having a meeting with other is like making others try it, and they will realize, oh, okay, that works for me. Maybe the founder like had a great story and the press catch on it and everyone started talking about it. Maybe, who knows? Remember, the market has this emergent behavior, and maybe for random reasons, everyone starts talking about this thing. And they were using these tactics. This thing is happening. So suddenly it seems like paid, like all the centralized marketing and all the tactics I mentioned before are working without noticing that are working because there is this chance thing that happened. But what happens with everyone else? We do the same thing that they are doing, but we were not lucky. We don't have this trust, and it doesn't work. And when you try these growth strategies without trust, they max out. We get stuck here. We don't have access to all the switching CIs and new to the market CIs, and we get stuck in this plateau. And then we try to be better at grinding instead of rethinking, wait, maybe there is a missing element here. So now that we saw how not to do that, let's see how to. We need these three things. So let's start with good reputation. How do you get that? With happy users that will say good things, hard activated, that is that now they're using it and they have really long retention, so they will say good things for a really long time. How do you get that? Through perfect fit. Now, you remember the funnel, where again, we see this, the strategy is like, let's fix our attention here and let's try to solve this thing, this drop here. What we discuss is like, wait, this is not one funnel, this is several funnels stuck on top of each other, made from different people. Some of them have a perfect fit and they don't need pretty much any change. Everything is working. And for others, it doesn't. So we will have people like this Notion user that is trying to create an ebook and is not liking it. It's a bad fit for that. So he's leaving this bad review that is lowering the score for everyone. So maybe somebody that is a good fit sees that is like, yeah, I'm not sure. Let me check the other ones. And we have for the very same product in the very similar dates, so no changes, it's the same thing. Yeah, but that person came with a different task in mind. The best tool to organize your life. And it's working perfectly for them. This person will build good reputation. Should we just focus on the good ones and achieve perfect fit? Or just choose the ones that already have the perfect fit? And stop trying to bring other people just because that is going to increase the addressable market just to destroy our reputation. Then familiarity. How can we get somebody to hear about us several times, repeated times? And the idea behind that is we have to achieve density. So we have the model. It's not only about the who and the who not being us, being other people, but also the amount of who's that hit you. So if I am this dot and all of these are Notion users, okay, Notion for me is going to be a default solution. It's like, okay, it seems like this is what everyone else is using. Because I will keep interacting with them and seeing them using it. So that's what we want to achieve. We need a density strategy, where the idea is to target connected networks to maximize the chances that I have an interaction, more than one interaction, right? Now, this idea applies both to centralized and decentralized marketing, where if you're doing Google search ads, the people that will see you is because they have like a specific task that trigger the keyword. But really high chances that they don't know each other. You can also focus on, okay, I know that I have some traction with B2B companies in London, so I'm just gonna try to focus on them and only connect them. The problem with density and centralized marketing is gonna become really expensive because you have to narrow down the segmentation criteria. So not the best way to do it, right? We can do it with decentralized marketing, reaching all the people that we talk about us. But we can also do it wrong, as in without density. If we talk with content creators to see how they can talk about us, as we will see in a second, but each one is in one part of like the world and talks to different audiences, there is not going to be density. Or we can find like overlapping networks where a creator shares audience with another one or with us. And now we have great tools to do that, like SparkToro, where you go there, it's like, okay, I'm Obsidian, I want to see who has an audience overlap with me. And you will see, okay, the people that visit Obsidian also visit these websites. Okay, and this is a blog. Let's talk with them, because there seems to be like enough overlap that proves, okay, our users can be here, but literally know that a ton of people that are visiting this blog still can discover us and get an additional interaction knowing about us. And third, the credible source. Others talking about us, and we will talk about these others as spread partners. Now, we usually think about this in terms of, okay, how can we make people talk about us? Always kind of this push mindset of forcing people to do things. And I'm adding the without paying them. And you can say, yeah, but this video is sponsored by Brilliant. Well, this one is not, but how many times do you hear that? Look, I respect Derek from Veritasium. He has a lot of credibility. When he says that, it's like, okay, I know that Brilliant exists, but I'm not going to try it. But if I see Derek using Obsidian without any sponsor to achieve something, and I have that same something to do, I will go for it. Completely different, right? And you can say, hey, maybe we can tell them that they don't disclose that we are paying them. Don't, because they know that it's too risky for them. Don't even put them in that situation. We are talking about partners. We are going to respect them. We are not going to push anybody here. Instead of that, let's rethink that question. Who can benefit from talking about us? Let's think about like win-wins. Who can get something just because he's talking about us? People that have a need that we can solve, not through using the product, but in different ways. For example, a content creator with a weekly newsletter has a massive need. It's like, yeah, he has to fill the newsletter every week. He needs content. Let's give him content. We can go for the old boring content, like, okay, here you have access so you can do an honest review. Okay, you can try that out. I'm talking about interesting content with the stories. Stories where our product doesn't have to be the main character of that story. So for example, we have Obsidian for beginners. Okay, like here, the main character is Obsidian. But this is a developer talking about his own experience discovering the product. Now the story is about him and about developers and the chance of using Obsidian. But we can make even more interesting content, like there is this idea of settlescasting. There is a specific way of taking notes that are like really short notes that are connected to each other. The main character here is settlescasting. So this is really interesting content, right? Or look at this from CGP Grey. That in this case, he put it for the members only, but it's the story of how Obsidian helped him create like a really creative video that he did about playing rock, paper, scissors with YouTube videos. Really cool. Don't just go for the boring content. Okay, let's do a press release about our new like fundraise, or about we have a new feature. Somebody wants to talk about our own feature? No, like let's explore what is interesting, what is content, and then we can inspire creators to talk about that. All of this was organic. Yeah, but you can inspire them. So, for example, you can connect these dots for them. It's like, hey, there's this thing called settlescasting, and we are the best solution for that. And you inform a content creator about that. Like, okay, that is an interesting story. Now you can think, yeah, but once one creator posted about that, nobody else is gonna want to talk about no, they won't. Look at the amount of videos of Zettelkasten and Obsidian. No problem. Why? Because it's really interesting content. And everyone wants to know more about Zettelkasten and then how to achieve that through Obsidian. Other examples like active community members. Somebody is really active on Reddit, on a forum, or on Twitter if you consider that a community. What is the need? People in these communities are trying to help other people or brag about things that they achieve. They're trying to build cloud. How we can help them? Okay, again, different than giving them the whole story, but give them things that they can use to help others. Maybe it's a lot of knowledge about the tool or about a process. And the cool thing here, look at this. 25% of Twitter users produce 97% of all the tweets. There are just a few people that actually create the content in these places, and everyone else just like comments or reads. So we just need to focus on the active ones, the ones that are creating the content. And how we can help a teacher or a mentor or a professional in a way that they can benefit from talking about us without any payment, without any referral or bonus codes. Okay, look, they have clients or students. Can we help their clients or students succeed without they having to do extra work? The way to achieve that is helping them make delegation on our product easy. For example, if I'm a writing teacher, Ulysses is perfect to delegate to my students because I know it's powerful enough for them to write really good things, simple enough that it's like, okay, I'm going to teach you the technique about writing, the tool, yeah, just go there, it's easy. Sometimes we have a more complex tool that achieves other things, like Notion. Okay, so for my clients, I can tell them, hey, we're going to document all the customer conversations that we're having, and we're going to do it wiki style so we can see all the connections there. For that, we're going to use Notion. Now, it can be tricky to use, but here you have this wiki about building a wiki that is perfect. And for me, it's like, okay, that's it. I delegate on that. I know that they're going to be good to go. I can focus on the conversations and the other technical things. So see how we can find people that we don't have to pay because there's a win-win. They want to talk about us. But the thing is, see this, like, it's not just talking, right? It's like helping, it's bragging, it's delegating. So let's expand that, because if we use a different word, we will also come up with better ideas. Let's talk about who can benefit from spreading us. Where the key idea here is that you have users that use your product for their functional value, and then you have spread partners that use the product for something completely unrelated. Half of these people will not use your product as is, functionally. They will use it to achieve something else. Think about them also as another type of client, where we want to build a relation with them. We want to deliver them value. We want to find the ways to get to them. And this different use of the product, that is what triggers their need. And then what creates the spread, we will call that spread dynamics. Help, brag, share a story, and delegate. These are just some of the spread partners and some of the dynamics. In future videos, we will see more in depth about like the full list. But this is enough to understand like the key picture. And now let's look at the other side of this. When that doesn't work, what can stop spread to happen? And for that, we're going to do it meta. That is not about Zuckerberg, it's about the framework itself. Okay, now I finished this video about DeMark and I want to promote it. So instead of doing ads, I will think who can benefit from spreading DeMark. And I will find blockers, like a conflict of interest. I find a content creator, for example, talk with him, explain him DeMark, he's like, oh, that's great. But I'm not going to talk about it because I want to use it. Keep it for me. Damn it. How can we solve that? Okay, flip it. Keep thinking about it. Don't just go for the obvious. Is there somebody else out there that wants to share secret weapons, something powerful like DeMark. Yeah, there are people out there that have newsletters or blogs. What they do is they link to other sources. They don't write content. So they will be happy to link to the video because they don't have to do any work, but they are delivering a lot of value to their users because they are like finding diamonds. Okay, start with them. And the really interesting thing is when enough people are sharing that, he will realize, oh, okay, the secret is out, so I should better start writing about it because now everyone is talking about this thing. So a lot of times, like what looks like, okay, we're not going to be able to spread, you can always find somebody that can benefit from spreading about it, and that goes back. It can be also a conflict of ideals. Like, yeah, somebody that just wrote a post about how to better optimize ads for startups to grow. And I'm saying pretty much the opposite thing here. So he will not want to contradict himself, right? How do you solve that? Okay, find people who switch sites recently. Look, I have an online marketing agency. So I did a lot of these ads. I did them for really big companies, and they work really well. Then I had my own companies, my own startups, and they didn't work. And I started realizing, yeah, maybe we are doing this thing because everyone does that, but they don't really work. And I started my journey that ended up with DeMark. But there are more people like me. So it's just about, okay, let's find these other people that had the same experience that I had. And let's join forces together to start spreading the word about like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do ads for growth. Maybe ads for anti-fragile discovery, but not for growth in the absence of trust. And as that trend gets bigger and bigger, suddenly just saying the old thing is not seen as good anymore. And they will want to switch. Again, there are always ways to flip it. It can be that there is not enough trust, as in, look, I go and talk with Lenny from Lenny's newsletter. He has a newsletter with 500,000 subscribers. And I explain him DeMark. He's like, oh, that's really interesting. Sorry, who are you? So maybe it's not the starting point. Maybe I should start with people that are smaller, who can benefit. Yeah, smaller content creators that want to create content that is outstanding, that is unexpected, that is new to make a reputation for themselves. Start with them that have overlapping audiences to the point that eventually some readers will tell Lenny, hey, some people is talking about this new DeMark thing, like, are you going to talk about it? Okay, now I can get there. And all these spread partners, doesn't matter if they are content creators or teachers, anybody, they are busy doing their thing. They will not put the time, but we can. We can create the content for them. And that content can be then published as a guest post there, or maybe not. Hey, like, so Diego, are you saying that we create the content and they use it, they do their own edit and use it on their name? It's like, yes. Now it has their credibility. It's because they made it their story. Much better than publishing that in our blog. Maybe nobody's reading, and also it doesn't have any credibility because we are the ones saying that thing, and of course you want to say things that align with the use of your product. So now we can put everything together. What are the implications of all of this? We will go from having a sales team that talks with users to having a DeMark team that talks with the spread partners. Instead of putting the money on ads, we can put the money on supporting this team and supporting the spread partners to create that content, to get great production, everything that is needed, so we create good content. Where here everything is guided by Cackle TV, and here we will look at accumulation of trust. We will do our diagnosis and we will keep doing it, saying, hey, are we like be more present in more places? Do we have density? Like, are we making progress? This will happen first, this accumulation. Numbers will grow later. When trust finally like explodes and then suddenly everyone starts talking about it and you get like this tipping point, then you will see the numbers. Don't worry about this. They will change. And instead of having our own blog and always posting there, we write, they publish. Sometimes as a guest, sometimes not. And even instead of trying to rank our own pages, okay, best tools to do a weekend, we try to put our Obsidian homepage there. No. Now we know that, hey, we can talk with a spread partner that has a list. We make sure that he tries our product and he likes it, perfect fit, so we made it to that list. But maybe that top 10 list is not in the first page. Okay, can we do SEO for that? Much better than for our own homepage? We're gonna get links anyway, right? Let's get the links for him. Now, look at this. I'm not putting anything on green or red. I'm not saying something is better than something else. I'm saying all of these are strategies or tactics, right? Each one has a time and a place that depends on a series of conditions that we are learning, these new mental models. If you're doing this and it works, just keep doing it. I'm not saying, hey, just stop sales. No, I'm saying sales are going to work under certain situations and not under others. The sales people, if we realize that it's not working, if we see that our ads max out, there is no way to just keep growing volume without costs getting out of control. Sales are struggling. Nobody's visiting our content. Okay, so if they max out or doesn't work, the most likely reason, again, is not that we have to do a better sales pitch or a better ad or a better landing page. It's because there is no trust. So let's focus on that. Instead of trying the same thing over and over again and become a better grinder, let's navigate that. Let's pick that sales team. It's like, okay, now for some time, you're going to focus on finding spread partners. And that team is great at building relations. Okay, now you're going to build relations with a different type of people. And we are going to start building trust. So now we can wrap everything up. We have centralized marketing, where the company talks with the user directly. The problem, the limitation, there is no credibility on that message. So if you already have that trust, go for it. But if you don't, then we can use decentralized marketing, where thanks to the spread partners, the message now has credibility. For the spread partner to talk about us, he has also to see that people love it. They're not going to talk about a really shitty solution. So we need good reputation that we will achieve through perfect fit. And finally, we need familiarity. And for that, we will have a density strategy. And when we combine everything, now we build trust. And when we build trust, maybe now we can start doing more of this to even speed up growth more. We will measure it through the diagnosis and we will see the accumulation. So the very first step, let's do diagnosis. And let's start rethinking, are the strategies that we are doing like appropriate for where we are? Or are we just trying to grind here? Now you have the tools to go for it. Now you have the tools to become a default and keep growing from there. So go for it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Potencia Ventures, for making all of this possible. But the framework doesn't end up here. Potencia allowed me to do like a really good overview of all the parts. Now we're gonna go deeper. How can you keep learning about the framework? Subscribe on pleasedon'tpush.com, where every time that something is published, then you will receive an email.